Only by remembering the past can the world learn how to make these crises less devastating. Amy Maxman. Maxman is a journalist who covered the Ebola outbreak for National Geographic, Newsweek, Al Jazeera, The Economist, and other outlets. She is currently a senior reporter at Nature, based in San Francisco. Prologue. When I was young, my father boasted to his friends that I was the smart one, and one day he was going to send me to Australia to attend university. But that did not jibe with my family situation. After his mandatory retirement as a government civil servant, my father worked long hours 7 days a week, running a food stall in a restaurant. He had 12 children to feed, clothe, and send to school, and what he earned was barely enough to hold the family together, let alone send me to a university, local or abroad. We siblings helped him after school and on weekends. There was no such thing as a day off, much less a vacation. My resourceful mother made food appear at the dinner table, even if it was sometimes the only meal that day. I was born and brought up on the tiny island of Penang, off the western coast of the Malay Peninsula. Wealthy families from Penang would send their children to England, India, Australia, or America for higher education. But for me, graduation from secondary school spelled the end of my schooling. I might have followed in the footsteps of siblings or friends and attended a nursing school or teacher's college on government stipend. But I was not interested in either profession. The Malaysian government awarded scholarships to the University of Malaya, but gave preference to Bumiputras, Malays or indigenous people, and I was no Bumiputra. My paternal grandparents were immigrants from China, and my mother is an orphan. One day, a young acquaintance of my sister who was home from an American college for summer vacation told her that some colleges offered full scholarships to foreign students. This glimmer of hope sent my best friend and me to the United States Information Service Library in Penang, where we spent innumerable hours researching such institutions. I knew that I would have to get a professional education if I was ever to escape the cycle of poverty. On March 17, 1970, after a long search and many applications, Wellesley College offered me a full scholarship. The pristine, pastoral New England campus and impeccable homes I got to know while enrolled at Wellesley were a sharp contrast to the squalor and dilapidation I left behind. I was thrilled to be in the United States, but saddened by the enormous disparity between it and my childhood home. I wanted to go to medical school, but in the 1970s, admission into medical school was fiercely competitive, and my foreign student advisor steered me toward public health or dentistry. Harvard School of Dental Medicine accepted me right after my junior year at Wellesley, but once there, I realized that my first love was still medicine. So, after completing my dental education, I went on to get my medical degree. Eventually, I specialized in infectious diseases. Growing up, I had heard about the humanitarian work of Doctors Tom Dooley and Albert Schweitzer. I always wanted to contribute in a similar way, to help people live a better life. But for many years, having a family of my own took precedence. In the aftermath of the terrible earthquake and tsunami of 2004-05 that devastated communities all along the Indian Ocean, I spent several weeks as a volunteer doctor in India. Finding this experience deeply satisfying, I left my position as full-time professor of medicine. Slowly, I carved out a part-time position in clinical medicine that enabled me to volunteer for several months in any given year. Over the last decade, I have contributed my medical services during humanitarian crises in more than a dozen countries, including Vietnam, Tanzania, South Africa, Nigeria, Haiti, Libya, Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, Malawi, the Philippines, and Nepal. Meliendu, a village in Gekadu, a remote region of Guinea, is home to some 30 families living in dilapidated stucco or mud brick houses with tin or thatched roofs, some weighted down with rocks. It sits deep in the jungle, surrounded by low hills that are largely deforested. Tall coconut trees, oil palms, young banana shoots, and cassava bushes are interspersed with towering reeds, elephant grass, and dense undergrowth. The heat, humidity, and soaking